Hey guys, it's Justin Goodbread, Certified Financial Planner with Heritage Investors, answering this client question of the week. So this week's client question comes from Jonathan. Jonathan asked, what should I do with my old 401k? You know, this is probably one of the most popular questions that you could ask a financial advisor or a financial planner. The reason for this is many people change jobs frequently, and they leave small account balances at their previous job. Thus the question, what do we do with the old 401k? So there are four choices when it comes to an old 401k. Number one, you can choose to do nothing. If you have less than $1,000 in the 401k, many times the old company will just write a check and cash that out. If you have between $1,000 and $5,000, it's not uncommon for your old plan provider to move that money to an IRA. If you have more than $5,000 in the old 401k, a lot of times the plan provider will just allow you to leave the money there at the old 401k plan. The upside to leaving the money in the old 401k is you may have an investment that's not eligible or not available on the open market. That's something to consider. The downside to leaving the money in the old 401k is that you could have limited investment selection and higher expenses. You know, in my particular position, I see this as an opportunity sometimes to leave money, but I'm a proponent of, if you've left the company, man, take your money with you. And that can move into number two. Number two, you can move your balance of your old 401k into your new 401k. There are many advantages to doing this. Not all companies will allow you to move old monies to your new 401k, so you need to check with your plan sponsor and your HR department to make sure this is eligible. I see this as a viable option when you want to consolidate accounts. So let's say you have $10,000 in an old 401k and you just changed jobs and you want to keep it simple. A simple solution is just to move that money to your new 401k. That way you consolidated the accounts. The downside again is this. In 401ks, typically you have limited investment selection. Sometimes the expenses could be higher than that of the open market. That leads us to the third option, and that is to cash out your old 401k. This is probably my least favorite option. The reason for that is when you take money out of a retirement plan and you don't meet certain requirements that the IRS dictates, you can end up losing 30, 40, or 50% of your account balance to taxes. If you need the money, I'm not one for getting loans, but sometimes a loan may make sense. Instead of paying 30, 40, or 50%, a low interest loan may make sense in that case. I'm not a big proponent of doing a cash out of a 401k. It just doesn't make sense to me, but it's an option you can do. The fourth option on what you can do with your old 401k balance is you can do what's called a rollover and roll the account balance over into a self-directed IRA or individual retirement account. There are many pros to this, and there's a few cons. The pro is that you're going to be in complete control of your investment. That's also a con. If you're not disciplined, then you may need the structure of a 401k. If you are disciplined, then it's going to open you up, number two, to the world of investments. Many times in a 401k, you're limited on your investment selection. So in an IRA, you can invest in a number of different things. You can even invest in real estate if the IRA is positioned properly. Because of the open market investment selection in an IRA, you may be able to find investments which have lower expenses than that of a 401k. One that I hear that a lot of people like when choosing an IRA over a 401k is you're not tied to following your employer's guidelines and rules. You're in the boat, you drive the boat. So those are four different choices that you can do with your old 401k money. So this is Justin Goodbread answering this client question of the week. Make it a great day. So if you found this video helpful, hey, like it, give us a thumbs up, share the video and subscribe to us. By the way, you can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, man, we're everywhere. Our blog is awesome, planningisfun.com, where we're sharing relevant and real-time information many times a week.